Square every Sunday. So I think she's got this week and next week, or this may be the last week. I can't remember, but the worship team will be doing a set with Pastor Barb's ministry this afternoon at 3 o'clock at Green Square. So if anybody has anything or no plans this afternoon, we'd love to have you guys come out. The crowd that she keeps building is getting bigger and bigger every week, so it's pretty exciting for her. So love to have your support out there today. And then if you'll notice, we talked about it last week, women conference coming up at the end of this month, the 22nd and 23rd. We've got an opportunity to take women for only $20. So if you're interested in going, if you could let me know today. I'm trying to get a count to see if we can get that 20. When we originally started talking about this, the cost was $60. And there was quite a few of you that were interested at $60. So I would encourage you, if you're still interested, also pray about sponsoring one or two women. The Mission of Hope Women's Shelter, I'm trying to get all of those ladies to be able to go as well. They, of course, don't have the funding to go, so if we could get some sponsors to help get those ladies to conference, that would be awesome as well. See your bulletin. I don't have a bulletin up here with me, guys, but see your bulletin for the rest of the announcements, and stand up and greet each other. Get the goal.
I need water.
Check, 1, 2. Check.
Yeah.
Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Good morning, everybody. Check, check.
Sounds like I'm not even talking on the mic. I mean, I can hear that it's out there, but I can't hear it.
You need more in your monitor?
Yeah, more in mine, sorry.
Go ahead.
Check. Can we go up a little bit more? Check. What's that for a little bit?
How about now?
Check. It just sounds like there, that's a little bit.
I know, I'm sorry. This is Jason, right? Jesse. See, I
Was that funny, Josh? Hit your guitar, play something right.
Yeah.
More or less.
No,
Everything was hands to the left, including the bass. Check, 1, 2.
can't trust the world anymore.
Check, 1, 2.
Jesse.
All right, I think we're good to go.
Michael,
Working my way to the back. Hi, hon. Read that one.
why on earth would we do that?
That's what matters. Nope. Good morning.
They're not high places, but they're places.
Good morning.
Heading back. Morning, kiddo.
we get ready to hear your message today, my prayer is that you are with us, as always. Father God, the message today is about sinking or swimming or sinking. And how sometimes, Father God, that we, as always, try to go on our own and sink. And then we get back to you and we swim. As we talk about Peter today and the disciples, how when they're with you, things are better. But they even too try to go on their own. When they're not with you, they lose faith. It's tough. It's a tough road to go. And the more we do, the more we try and strive, the more we lose sight, Lord. We need to refocus and retool. And sometimes we all need to tune up, Lord. Have to be reminded of you. So Lord, we just pray for hedge of protection. Satan, we bind you in Jesus' name. Lord, we just welcome you. Come. Be here in this house today. With everyone. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You want to pray? All right, kids, want to come up? Sunday school children. Father God, we just pray right now for the children. We just pray that for their lesson today, pray that they can focus and that they have a good lesson and that they get touched. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. To mention my little niecey here in her dress looking beautiful. I just got a picture from her dad 2 days ago in her new football. She's playing ball, Roosevelt.
And she made show choir today.
Go girl, show them what time it is. All right. So welcome everyone. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Even the guests in the back. Good to see you. Been a minute, Robbie, welcome. Good to see you. Today we're going to talk about God's dream for your life. And today we're going to focus our thoughts this morning and listen to the words of Paul to get started out. And I'll tell you, I think you got your slides here, and I think she put my wrong sermon in there. Jamie, did you print off the sermon for today? Yeah, I got the wrong one. So while we're waiting for that, how's everyone doing today? I had a rough week, man. Went down on the roofing out front. They left an extra package, like a gap on my garage, and I went to take the recycling down. Thank you, dear. I moved it along. Oh, the black book? So it was my area, not my garage. Wow, after our first date night last night, and I don't know how many months, we had a fantastic night. And yes, I'll admit it. Okay, hold on. I eat sushi. And let me tell you something.
And he liked
it.
He liked it. Don't let him.
I had to get over it. It was, I think babe, I got a battery here. Got it over that. Anyway, my story. I was taking the recycling down Wednesday morning, and I've been sick, so my doctor determined Tuesday I have to go for a immune check next week, because I've been sick 2 months. So I was taking the recycling down, and I went through the garage, buzz a button again and all that, and there's a big gap between my garage and going out on the driveway. Ron, you know the gap I'm talking about. I stepped in and went to go down. Well, your first reaction is to hit your phone. Well, my dumb self was not wearing my brakes. I didn't know my mistakes. I call it. Excuse me for a second. Still gotta get it on with it. So anyway, when I went down on my knee and I lost my hand footing on the roofing so hard I bruised my sternum. I said, man, it's hell getting one. And I can say that because it is. I mean, I'm only going to be in January, but man, 55. And looking this good, it doesn't. But anyway, so we went out, we went messed around in Waterloo. We said, we're going to have a date night. We went and fooled around there and had a little shopping. Came back and she wanted sushi. And I'm like, I lost 28 pounds since not doing the behavior. My wife's real proud of it. And I got to tell you, I lose 13 more pounds, and I don't mind saying it. I'll be up to 300 pounds the first time. And so we got back, and she said, what do we want to eat? Now, we've been married 10 years in a few weeks, and I will tell you this. There's never a time when we decide to eat that we don't argue about where we eat. Not argue, but yeah, let's go get something. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Somewhere to eat. So usually one of us gets frustrated when we get home because I make it better anyway. You know what I'm saying? I know how I like to eat. I was good for years. So she wanted sushi. Well, I don't eat sushi. I haven't, you know. I lived on the coast, okay, where they at certain restaurants, Gladstones, will have ketchup in front of you and me. So, you know, I like fish and lamb, but not sushi. I think it's. And I've tried it many times. So she wanted sushi. I said, well, I want like beef and broccoli or something like that. I don't do rice. Such stomach surgery, I just don't do it. So she goes, well, I can know a great place on there, Sushi House or something, because they do Japanese and Chinese. So I could get what I wanted, she did what she wanted. So she got what she wanted, and she said, wait, I think I want to try eel. And I'm like, so here's how cool this waitress was. I don't take a long with this story, but I have to tell you. She was a great night. And the lady goes, well, instead of spending this much, she turned the page and said, get this little order, it's cheaper. And if you don't like it, you know, you haven't spent that much. Great waitress. As why she got a great tip. But, so she got it, and I said, okay, I'm going to try it of one of your little round ricey seaweed things. So she cut it in half, and it's hard to cut it in half, but anyway, I tried it. And I had to take the seaweed out. I said, you know what, before I try that, let me try the one too, and all that. Okay. So she cut that in half, and I actually liked it. I will say I enjoyed it. I had to get over what it was. I had to get over that it was called sushi. I had to get over that it's mostly for yuppies. And I dated someone for years when I was in the music business, and she ate sushi 5 nights a week. And I used to tell her, get away from me. I was sweating breath. She'd get sushi, I get steak. You know, she'd get steak and potato. And she'd get octopus soup, and just all this nasty stuff that made you a monster. So I tried this sushi and I loved it. So now I said, okay, I'm going to try the squid. Well, I was dipping it in this sauce that put before it, salty, and this deep bowl. I said, I'm going to try squid. I'm a grown man. I haven't tried it in 30 years. I'm going to do this. So I go to grab it, and I'm like, and I'm thinking, that's squid. Push it away. No, try it. Don't eat that junk. And my wife's going, this is good. And I'm like, good. I'm going to drive home with the window open like this, and you can drive. And I tasted it, and I liked it. About 80% of what I did. The other one was way better. But anyway, the moral of the story is that great big thing. First one, I don't know how she would tell you, so I'm sure she counts the days, but we had a really, really good story. And I appreciate you. That's my story. Now, to the sermon. As we dig into the event of Jesus and Peter, for those of you that know the story, for those of you that don't, it's all about Peter walking on water when he had faith in Jesus. I want us to look at the event a little bit deeper level today, and kind of how we can tie it into our lives. This event really takes us to the crossroads that we're going to face concerning our faith. And I've been pretty hot on this for the last, month or two. As we live life, we can live it in the presence of Jesus. But will we allow the relationship with Him to be much more than just a ministry of presence? You know, us believing in Him and when things are good, trusting Him. Yeah, I believe in Jesus. I'm a Christian. I go to church. That's good. But when things go bad, when I'm going to church today, I don't feel like it. I'm not hanging with Christians. Things didn't go my way in church. So I'm not going next week. I'm mad at somebody in church today. So what happens is, at this time, is our faith in Christ is overridden by our faith in man. And I've said before, man can lay you down. So am I. So's Josh. So's my wife. So's Jen. So's Ron. So's Josh, Brendan, and everyone here. They're going to let you down. So there's never going to be a time where somebody's not going to let us down. So what I mean by this is that we can get involved in things that Jesus would want us to be involved in, such as being active in church and hanging out with people and being there for people. And we can read the Bible, we can pray, we can give, we can do works of charity, we can, help people out and be there for people. But if we're not careful, we're going to miss what Jesus is calling us to do in our lives. And that's what I want us to consider this morning. It's more than all that. Up to this point, after seeing Jesus feed 5,000 people, and really what it says in the Bible is 5,000 people, right? With 2 loaves of fish. Some theologians say it doesn't talk about the women and kids. So some believe there could have been more. One would think that the disciples would understand that Jesus is solid, right? And a soldier of souls. That if you trust in Him, He can make anything happen. Now they just saw this event happen, right? They just watched it happen. And the event we'll focus on today forced the disciples to take a deeper view of Jesus than they ever did before. Let's begin with looking at Matthew. We're going to be in chapter 14, and this is verse 22, 23, and 24. Immediately, He made the disciples get into a boat. This is right after they fed the fish, okay? Fed them with the loaves. Immediately, He made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of Him to the other side, while He dismissed the crowds. After dismissing the crowds, He went up into the mountain. He wanted to go by Himself. And He went there to pray. Well, into the night, He was there alone. Verse 24 says, meanwhile, the boat was already some distance from land, battered by the waves because the wind was against them. So first, life without the presence of Jesus. This has been an eventful time, and Jesus had been told of the beheading of John the Baptist, and he took it pretty hard. So Jesus withdrew to get away from the crowds. However, the crowds found Him. They searched Him out. And He needed time alone. He had to really get through this, get deep in His soul. Jesus sees the crowds, He heals people, He teaches them. And it was at this point where He had the feeding of the 5,000. The disciples wanted Jesus to send the people home to eat. However, Jesus had a different plan. He took 5 loaves, 2 fish, and fed the entire crowd. In verse 22, we see the word immediately. And this was right after the feeding. Jesus seemed to be in a hurry to get away from the crowd, so we're not sure why He was in such a hurry. There's no account to that. But in one of the parallel accounts I found with the feeding of 5,000, that was in the book of John. chapter 6, verse 15, I read this. Therefore, when Jesus realized that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, which he didn't want to be king, he withdrew again to the mountain by himself. So when I found that, I thought maybe that's why he was such in a hurry to go. Because he didn't want to be king. So Jesus knew the time and the circumstances were not right for him. So he asked the disciples to go across the Sea of Galilee to Bethsaida, according to Mark 6:45. So that's what he told the disciples to do when they got in the boat. Jesus sent them ahead of him so he could go in the mountain and pray and be by himself and get through the John the Baptist saying, not be king, he wanted to pray. Now all through the Bible, the New Testament, it talks about Jesus going alone to pray. By no means was he a showboat. And when he came down, he was full, right? He had his time with God. And that's when he could share with you. That's when he did his healing. That's when he did his teaching. He needed his time alone. And he made time. That time alone wasn't to watch TV. That time alone wasn't to spend hours on Facebook or do gaming. That time alone was to be with God. So Jesus sent them ahead. They left in the boat between 6 and 9 p.m. The Romans divided their night for their watches into 4 sections. This takes some study to bring to the statement. Here's the 4 sections they broke their watches into. The first was 6 to 9 p.m. That's when they started. The second was 9 to midnight. The third was midnight to 3 a.m. And the fourth was 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. So remember, when they left, it was 6 to 9 p.m. So John 6:16 tells us that when evening came, the disciples got into the boat. And this is what I want us to think about. These men were in the physical presence of Jesus at this time. Right? But now they're not. When Jesus sent them in the boat, remember now they're alone. Jesus sent them in the boat alone to get across the Sea of Galilee. And these guys knew how to navigate and handle rough waters. A couple of them were fishermen, remember? I mean, they knew rough waters. They knew how to handle it. But this night was especially rough. The winds were blowing hard, you remember, and the waves were battering, and the boat wasn't taking it very well. And the men had made it about 3 or 4 miles, according to John 6:19. The strong headwinds made the journey even more difficult. These men had battered bad conditions for most of the night. Now, if they were with Jesus, the trip would have been much easier. But now they're not with Jesus, and they're getting nervous. Now, it's not a situation where they chose to be away from Jesus. Remember, Jesus told them to go. The evening was tired and rough, and they had to work very hard not to get very far. Imagine how life is for those who don't want Jesus to be with them. Imagine it. They choose not to have Jesus in their life. Excuse me. Because they can do it on their own. They can control that boat. Life's difficult enough without trying to go it alone, folks. The trip across the Sea of Galilee seems to me to be a snapshot of what happens when we try to sail or row across the Sea of Life without Jesus next to us. Without Jesus at the helm of the wheel. These men were sailing and rowing through their lives. They're not getting far fast because of the winds and the waves. Stuff gets in the way. Stuff gets more in the way when Jesus is in our life. Stuff gets more in the way, more than that, when we know Jesus and choose not to accept having us at that time. When I tried to live my life without Jesus, the wind and the waves of my life eventually went over me. And my boat sinks. And I got to work triple hard to get up on water. I struggle lately with having a good, deep time alone. And this week, after my fall, I said, I've got a scheduled time with Jesus. How ridiculous is that? I should be scheduling my other stuff. Now I know people work. And some have contract work, so work will come up and hit them. Some have scheduled work. I know my schedule. We've got to spend time with Jesus Christ. Otherwise, that season's going to be tough. Think about all the things in your life you stress about, over which you have little control over. There's stuff we stress about that we have control over, right? But then the stuff that hits us, and we feel overloaded. The disciples were experiencing just how difficult life was without Jesus at that point. And they struggled to get across the sea. And they just left Jesus. So then, the thing from the observation I want you to consider, are you trying to sail and row across the sea of life without Jesus? Or are you sailing the sea with a part-time Jesus? And how is that working for you? Matthew chapter 14. Josh, you want to read a little bit? Yeah. Matthew chapter 14, verse 25 through 31. These are the board sheet.
It says, Jesus came toward them walking on the sea very early in the morning. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. Immediately Jesus spoke to them, "Have courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter answered him, "command me to come to you on the water."
You know, when he said come, after that, in verse 29, he said come. And climbing out of the boat, Peter started walking on the water and came toward Jesus. Thank you, God. In verse 30, he said, but when he saw the strength of the wind, Peter took his focus off Jesus, right? Started seeing the things around him, all the wind and all the storms and all the craziness. When he had his eyes on Jesus, he was walking off the boat, walking right towards Jesus. But then he took his eyes off him and saw the storm and the craziness and all the stuff going on. He was so afraid. He started beginning to sing and cry out, "Lord, save me! Save me, Lord!" Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand, caught a hold of him, and said to him, "You have little faith. Why did you doubt me?" Because in the beginning, Peter was walking. So my second point, second of three today, is the faith crossroads, I call it. Okay, it's early in the morning. It would be during the fourth watch, which would be between 3 and 6 a.m. The disciples had been rowing from between 6 and 9 p.m. Long time. So they could have been going at it from anywhere from 6 to 12 hours in that rotten Sea of Galilee, that rough water. It was a long, hard night, right? The men were tired, they were weary, they were beaten. Has life ever done that to you? Beaten you up? You felt like, I can't do this anymore? I'm just tethered? I can't take it anymore? Life has worn you out, situations have beaten you down. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel? Some situations just got you so upset that you're done. Well, it's early in the morning. between 3 and 6. Now it's faith crossroads time. Verse 25 tells us something spectacular was about to happen. Jesus came toward the boat, walking in the sea. Here's what I like, the initial reaction of these big, strong men. When they saw him walking across the street or the sea, they were terrified. These big boys. It's a ghost, they said. And they started screaming out in fear. They started crying out. It was like little girl time. They were screaming like little girls, all of them. Yeah, let's be fair. What would you do? You start seeing someone walk across the water. I don't think I'd say, yo, what's up? Come on in, let's chill.
I'd be leaving around having a ride.
And all you have is a couple of oars, you know. The word terrified means to be thrown in the mind. Confusion. Or disturbed. I think I'd maybe scream out like a little girl. Okay. But the disciples didn't know what to think, and they thought they were seeing some kind of evil spirit that was going to finish them off. It's a ghost, they said. And they cried out in fear, they yelled. You know, when you see people struggling through life, and we try to bring Jesus to them, or share Jesus, because some of us do, they usually react in the same way. In fear, if they don't know Jesus. And some of us don't dare share Jesus with them. Because we don't want to upset them. We don't want to push Jesus on them. Do you know what we're doing when we do that? In our minds, we're not thinking. Let the devil have it. We don't care enough or love them enough to share Jesus Christ with them and give them the opportunity to have life. I know that sounds harsh, but that's what we're doing, folks. Or if we're keeping our Christ a secret. They don't cry out in terror when we go to share Christ. But they have that old ghost thing. Oh, come on. No, I don't want to hear it. They don't know fear, or they do fear Jesus. You know why? Because they don't know Jesus. And they don't see Jesus in you. Because when you're around them, you're a different person. I remember in LA growing up, I belonged to a couple different cliques. And I was different with those cliques. Truthfully. And then I was different with about 8 different cliques. And I belonged to none of them. And that's how I walked through it all. But you're different with different groups of people. Think about it. But when you get to the point where you have Jesus Christ fully and wholly in your life, you're the same with everybody. Amen?
Amen.
In verse 27, Jesus seeks to calm their fears by telling them, for crying out loud, quit crying like little girls. Okay, he didn't say that. But I mean, take courage. That's what he told them. Be courage. Now, we come to our faith crossroads. Do we sit in the boat, or do we come to Jesus on the sea? Do we have the faith to get out and come to Jesus? When he says, come to me, that would take a lot of faith, wouldn't it? To be sitting in a boat, and then you see, he recognizes Jesus, right? As he comes closer. And he says, come to me. Because remember, Peter did, right? Until he took his eyes off the Lord. People, we take our eyes off the Lord all the time, don't we? Tell the truth, God's here. He knows. You can fit into me. Here, Bruce. But God knows what's up. So when our eyes are fixed on Christ, and we have the faith, and we let Jesus take the wheel, and we're looking right at him, and he says, come to me, we can do it. But we have so many distractions in life. And we worry about so much petty junk that we take our eyes off. So, when we come to the faith crossroads, do we sit in the boat? Do we come to Jesus on the sea? Or do we give up? Peter, bless his heart, decides to act in faith, and he answers Jesus by saying, if it is you. Now, Peter doesn't respond with any expressed doubt, but he expresses a reality that's true. Since it's you, Jesus, command me to come out of the water. And did you see how the others were ready to get up and come out of the water with Peter? No, not anyone else but Peter. No one else got out of the boat, folks. Read it. Nobody else got up to come out. Not one other disciple had the faith. After spending all that time with Jesus and a day earlier, seeing those people get fed. So people, what I'm saying here is, how many people have had a Jesus moment? And how many people are day or two later, you don't have to raise your hands between you and God, did something that wasn't God? I'll raise my hand. That's what happened here. They saw him feed the 5,000, maybe more, right? So I'm telling you, there were families. Some say probably up to 8,000. Some theologians. They saw that the day before. And not one of the disciples got up to get out of the boat. So Jesus simply says, come. I wonder if Jesus was thinking, this will be interesting. Let's see how many of my boys trust me. Let's see how many of my disciples, my group, trust me. No, Jesus doesn't act like that. That's the good day for us people. You know why? He doesn't test you. He loves you. Because you're his brothers and sisters. He loves you that much. Because if you don't get out of the boat, what's he going to do? He's going to walk on the boat alone. That's the good news. That's the cool thing. Peter gets out of the boat. He's full of faith. He starts walking to Jesus. The junk gets in the way of storms and craziness. Have you ever answered the call of Jesus? Or are you sitting in the boat waiting to drown? Think about that. Those guys didn't get out of the boat, right? Correct? So they were going to sit in the boat and be ready to drown. And these were guys that loved Jesus. But that day, didn't answer his call. So what's the thing? They were ready to drown. We don't know how far he got, but Peter all of a sudden was what I call a wile E. coyote. He was ready to turn around and bail back to the boat. But he started sinking. And right there, Jesus picked him up. So that's what I mean. Jesus loves us. He's not going to let us drown.